I'm forwarding the idea that Malcolm X died as a selfish traitor who betrayed the Black Revolution. And I will substantiate those points during this conversation. The funny thing is that before hearing me speak, I saw so many brainless blacks in the chat. Oh, I was subscribed. Now I'm going to unsubscribe. Oh, you don't even want to hear the arguments, huh? Fascinating. It tells us, or rather it reminds us, that the power of propaganda, the power of story, the power of lies repeated, hard to defeat. That is why so many of you blacks, you still worship the same God that your slave master taught you about. How is it you have the same religion as the Ku Klux Klan? Yes, that's a fact. And what I want you all to know is that the people who follow me are very enlightened, you see, because the truth will come out and, it'll touch all of you. One day people listen to me lash the Europeans and they say, that's right, you tell those devils. Then the next day, I have a couple words for the blacks. Now all of a sudden I'm anti-black. Then I have some words for the Muslims. Now I despise Islam. I have some observations of the Zionists. Now I'm anti-Semitic. I tell you all that if you are a lover of the truth, you respect the truth, no matter where it comes from. You respect the truth, even if it makes you uncomfortable or it addresses something about your identity. We're in an era where people are so sensitive. They despise the truth. They hate to see mirrors. They like being lied to. That's precisely why you find yourself in this unfortunate position. You've fallen in love with comforting lies and you despise harsh truth, which is often what you need. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. I got a lot of information here to share, and I really am disappointed in myself because I did the very thing that I would like not to do. I organized a presentation in advance, which is to say I took up highly valuable time of mine, but I think it illuminates things a bit better for you all. And my training is as a teacher, and I just can't help but try to put on a good lesson for you all. Oh, and by the way, if you feel offended by the things that I say, meaning the truth, don't advise me to be humble. Don't advise me to say it nicer. No, I'm going to make it plain and I'm going to be real. And that is the only way I will ever be. If you don't like seeing a confident, successful black man, this is not the channel for you, little buddy. I'll tell you what, some of what inspired me, made me know that I had to have this talk. I had to have this talk. So my video editor, he put up a video clip. And I'm going to show you the comments on that video clip because they're very telling. We encourage you within this thing of ours, if you would make an argument, give evidence. If you would contradict something, say Marquett at timestamp 2 minutes, 43 seconds, you stated fill in the blank. My contradiction or my argument or my counterpoint is this, and then you would substantiate it. But instead, we have a lot of emotional, immature, foolish individuals who are not aware of what they are, which is not much. Now, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. People got their feelings hurt. So this person writes, Elijah was a false prophet and is not worth the bootlaces of Malcolm X. I want you to notice something that you will see consistently. Okay, if that is true, what is the evidence? Where is the example? It's devoid. You just shared emotions. And a lot of people shared your emotions. This person writes, calling Malcolm X a traitor is insane. This is a statement or a conclusion. Now, will there be arguments? Will there be evidence? This person writes, Elijah Muhammad had him killed simply because the NOI considered him a prophet. What? This is complete nonsense. This is complete nonsense. And we can debunk things like this. They give no sources, no meaningful references. And let's dig into this a little bit. He writes, Malcolm spoke out against that and amongst other things. Well, what do you mean against that? The idea that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is a prophet within their religion. he was a messenger of God. He wrote a book entitled Message to the Black Man, and I read it when I was a youngster, and it was one of the best books I've ever read, one of, to this day. That is still true. Am I a follower, a religious follower of the Nation of Islam? Absolutely not. Will I honor any man, especially a black man, who brings knowledge, who brings a way, a light in a darkness? Absolutely, I will. Now, so he was, in fact, a messenger of God as far as their religion goes. Many people have religions. I think they're probably all wrong. This was their religion. Malcolm X, mind you, was a part of their religion. This person writes, Malcolm spoke out against that, amongst other things. Well, how could you speak out against him being a prophet if that's what you believed as a part of your religious belief? So that doesn't make sense. The individual further writes, then all of a sudden he was seen as an enemy. Oh, do you trust that? All of the sudden? See, we have lies here. It was not all of the sudden Malcolm was seen as an enemy. This is what they do. They lie. They leave things out. It's either due to their actual ignorance, meaning they don't know the truth, or they are trying to deceive. I think in this case, this person is actually just stupid and ignorant, unfortunately. It's very common. It's more common than people being knowingly deceptive. So no, it wasn't all of the sudden Malcolm X became the enemy. Malcolm X became the enemy when he started to publicly degrade and slander the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That would be a problem for any religious leader that has an organization where membership is validated and where persons can be ostracized. This would be true in the Mormon church. This would be true with the Jehovah's Witnesses. This would be true with many groups where they have an organized membership, where there's an in group and an out group and it's regulated. So no, you wouldn't be able to talk crazy about Gordon B. Hinckley in the Mormon church during the time that he was reigning. You wouldn't be able to talk crazy about any leader of a church where they have a membership. So he was excommunicated, in other words, and it makes perfect sense. And it was not only because he was talking poorly about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. More importantly, it was because he violated an order in his duty as the spokesman of the Nation of Islam. He willfully violated it. And when he was silenced, he refused to be silent. Why? Because his own arrogance and narcissism made him feel like he needed to capitalize on his fame. He needed to speak. He needed to be heard. He was so important. He, in other words, was bigger than the movement. And that, my friends, is why we must identify him as a traitor. Why do you say a traitor, Marquett? Because they're called the Nation of Islam. The nation. A nation has citizens. If you betray the nation, you are thereby a traitor. He is by definition a traitor, and he also suffered what traitors suffer. And we all know that it's capital punishment. Furthermore, this imbecile writes, he ended up getting assassinated. Doesn't say who did it. That's a point we'll address as well. He writes, and the man who killed him was conveniently a Nation of Islam member. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Had the Nation of Islam been infiltrated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation? Absolutely. Who's one of the people to point that out publicly? Malcolm X himself. He stated, and I quote, the Nation of Islam has been widely infiltrated. By whom? By the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So when you state that the person who killed him was a member of the Nation of Islam, it may have been a member of the Nation of Islam who was also an FBI agent. And mind you, this is not new. The Federal Bureau of Investigation also infiltrated the Black Panther Party for self-defense and many other organizations. This is what they do. And Malcolm X himself said the nation had already been widely infiltrated. So this person sounds quite foolish. And also Malcolm X's family has sued whom over his death? The Federal Bureau of Investigation, the United States government, and various other agencies, because they said they were a part of him being taken out. So his own family contradicts what you say, and Malcolm X, out of his own mouth, contradicts what you claim. See, that's what happens when people don't have real information. The fella further writes, and the man who killed him was conveniently an NOI member. Elijah was a man who wanted to be a cult leader. Really? Can you substantiate that? You see, one of the things that we have to identify about cult leaders is that they often say that they are God. That's quintessential. They say they are God. That's number one. Then number two, in addition to saying that, they additionally like to, do strange things like sleep with the wives of the members, or sleep with the male members, or have everyone basically take themselves out. Cults are dangerous entities that usually don't have a proper hierarchy. Why don't they have a hierarchy? Well, that's because the cult leader in his psychosis wants all of the attention on him, so he never puts other persons in positions of power. He has to keep them sidelined and marginalized. So was it a cult? No, it was a religious movement. And I should say it is a religious movement because it still exists, however crippled it currently operates. So no, you cannot rightfully call it a cult. But here's the funny thing, and we're going to get into this in a bit. This individual clearly wants to idolize Malcolm X, not realizing that there would be no Malcolm X without this supposed cult. So if it was so much a cult, then why is it that this cult has churned out so many revolutionaries in the struggle for freedom and enfranchisement of the Black American? How is it if it was such a cult? And how many people have taken their own lives? None. How many of those guys said that they are gods? None. How many of those guys have had major sex scandals with them having intercourse with the members, the male members, or the wives of the male members? No. So it doesn't have any of the hallmarks of a cult. This is just insulting language. And I remind you guys, this is what people do to deride, but they have no evidence. And that's why it's a pity that we're allowed, or foolish people are allowed to say things without any substantiation. They just say what they want. And it's usually jealousy and hatred based. It's usually on a base of idiocy. But let's carry on. Back to the foolishness. The individual writes, and clearly was willing to use the NOI to achieve that. This person's English and ability to put together sentences and coherent thoughts is very low. He writes, isn't it funny that even Muhammad Ali also broke away from the NOI? Well, it's funny that you mentioned Muhammad Ali. You see, Muhammad Ali broke away from Malcolm X. Let me recount the true history. So this fool is suggesting that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was starting a cult for the purpose of aggrandizing himself, and that the Muhammad Ali, who, mind you, got his name from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they're suggesting that Muhammad Ali left him because it was a cult. Well, here's a funny thing. Malcolm X, he was good friends with Muhammad Ali, and then when Malcolm X was excommunicated, Muhammad Ali stopped dealing with him and he sided with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Why? Because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was his teacher who woke him up from the dead in the same way that he woke Malcolm X up from the dead, except that Muhammad Ali remembered that. Furthermore, Malcolm X was not a great teacher. He was not a great leader. He was not a great philosopher. He was not a great organizer. He was one who came within something that another man had created. He got put in position and wanted all the glory for himself. So to correct this fool in the comments, Malcolm X was abandoned by Muhammad Ali because what he was doing was wrong. Muhammad Ali's judgment of Malcolm X was that he was the one that was wrong. You see, that's what happens when people have so much trouble with the truth. They don't do their research. Yes, it's unfortunate. They don't do their research. We're going to get into it today, ladies and saints. May I acknowledge Hustle Zone supporting the work. Shout to the Swarthy Wizard. He writes, Mr. Burton, correct me if I'm wrong. I think after Malcolm threw the NOI, did he write an apology letter begging the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to come back days before he was deleted? That's correct. Yes, he did request to come back, and he also states that publicly. And some people would say that Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam. No, he was kicked out, in fact, and he was kicked out for good reason. And I'll tell you, Malcolm X is a personality that I understand well. Many of you don't understand human nature. You don't even understand yourselves. But in understanding human nature, and in particular the nature of an individual like Malcolm X, who, mind you, has lost his whole life until he encountered the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, once he was kicked out, excommunicated, he needed something else. So what did he do? He floated on to the nearest, the most adjacent thing, which was Islam, Sunni Islam. Yes, because he needed something, because he's not a builder. He is not one who creates organizations. He is not one who births philosophies. He is not one who organizes people or communities. So he went to something that, again, was ready-made. Shout out to Dimitri, writes, peace of the saints. Appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones. Shout out to those supporting this good work. You're going to get this work today. Oh, yes, indeed. You're going to get this work today. May I acknowledge Travis supporting the work via Venmo. And notice, none of these cowards want to show up and defend their hero. Shout out to Caleb, writes tuition, peace to the saints. I also acknowledge Justice, writes going to work soon, tuition, appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones. Yes, indeed. You're going to get this work today. And notice all of the cowards, they will show up in the comments. But when there's an opportunity to stand up as a man and to speak their views, they do not want to do it. They are filled with crippling fear. Yes, in the face of truth, in the face of true masculinity. That's what happens to them. Yes, they retreat to being effeminate and cowardly and hiding in the shadows. So continue hiding, and I will bring the light to you right now. Everyone prepare, because we have some lessons here. Yes, indeed. And I'm just warming up. Anyways, so this dweeb wrote a comment that is easily debunked. And we can go through. So this one writes, calling Malcolm X a traitor is wild. And notice, I want you guys to notice the nature of the language. This is how you know these people are brainless. Marquett, what do you mean by brainless? They're brainless and aimless. And fortunately, they're all going to die nameless. Here's why I say that. Notice, quote, calling Malcolm X a traitor is insane. Here's a comment that's right below it. Same linguistic structure. Calling Malcolm X a traitor is wild. Did you notice that? Calling Malcolm X a traitor is wild. Calling Malcolm X a traitor is insane. These are robots, ladies and saints. Why is the language so similar? Because the thinking pattern is so similar. Or shall I say, the lack of thinking is so similar. They're brainless cogs is what they are. That's why they write in exactly the same way. When you hear these young boys always say, hey, bro, yeah, bro. Oh, yeah, that's diabolical. Yeah, bro. Oh, yeah, it's the... They all talk the same. They can't formulate sentences. They have no vocabulary. The educational system has them in disrepair. I'm here to teach, and I'm going to force the knowledge on you because the level of idiocy and ignorance has become unbearable. Shout out to Hamabu writes, why should loyalty to NOI be important? Exactly. A man who doesn't understand the importance of loyalty, a man who doesn't understand the importance of hierarchy. Fascinating. He writes, shouldn't the struggle be for black liberation, not advancement of NOI? Well, here's the thing, doofus. The NOI was the most powerful organization for advancing black people at that time. That's why. It's not about the NOI. It's about the vehicle that's going to advance black people. You see, when Malcolm X got out of the NOI, and he didn't live very long after that, but even if he did, he wouldn't have done anything because he does not have the understanding of ideology, the understanding of business, and the understanding of organizing. In fact, he doesn't even understand human nature. Here's an example. Marquett, what do you mean Malcolm X doesn't understand human nature? Number one, he was provincial. Yes, he was provincial. You guys didn't realize that. All of the travel he did was basically in the last years of his life. And he was fooled, bamboozled, hoodwinked. Marquett, what do you mean? I'll tell you. I went to China for the first time. I went to Beijing as a tourist, which is to say, as a nobody. I went there with my assistant, and we, toured and, did a little bit of small bits of business there. But I was a nobody, and I was treated accordingly. In a society with 1 billion people, you can instantly feel how unimportant and irrelevant you are. You feel disposable. Then months later, I was invited back to China by the Chinese government. Yes, the Chinese Communist Party. Why? Because I have a hyper-growth tech company and a part of many initiatives. You guys have probably heard of the Belt and Road Initiative. The Chinese are trying to center themselves in the world of tech and advanced industries, AI, self-driving cars, crypto, all of it. So they wanted all of the best entrepreneurs. So I was invited back. And this time when I showed up, there were camera crews following me around, catching audio and video, people watching, government around, translators around, security around. Oh, the way those people treated me was so much different. Everyone's bowing so low, bowing so many times, taking my hand, almost kissing it, and being so humble and so meek. Why? Because my position was clear. My position from a point of being semi-famous, because I was on Chinese TV. And from a point of clearly being wealthy and being favored by the power holders in that society, the Chinese Communist Party. So the way that the people reacted to me was unique. It was not the way they would react to a black man. It was not the way they would react to an African. It was not the way they would react to a foreigner. It was the way they would react to a dignitary. Did I get foolish enough? Did I get deluded in my head to think that, oh, the Chinese love black people, they love Africans, they love foreigners? No. They loved me because of the positioning I had and the way I was presented. Malcolm X went to Saudi Arabia. He traveled to various nation states, and he said, oh my goodness, there is no racism here. In Islam, I was here shoulder to shoulder with other Muslims. The deen of Islam is so beautiful because we are all equal here as humble pilgrims seeking something greater. It's the spiritual is making us all the same. And I can feel it. I'm here next to white Muslims and brown Muslims and Arabs and Indians and Americans and Africans, and we're all the same. No, dummy. You are now world famous, dummy, and they're treating you according to your fame, status, and position. You are confused. You're just like the rapper or the athlete who says racism doesn't exist. You're just like OJ when they say, how do you feel as a black man? He said, I ain't black, I'm OJ. You've been confused, my dear boy. Yes, and because you're provincial and inexperienced, and you only got to travel internationally once you were famous, you did not get the experience of a normal, average N-word. That's why you were confused, my dear boy. Yes. I got to go to China as an everyday guy. It was a certain experience. Then I got to go to China as a low-key, you're a little bit of a star. Oh, it was a different experience. And you can see it. Drop my IG for the people who don't know what's up with the big homie. Yeah, Instagram.com/Marquett Devon. MarquettDavon. Scroll through all the places I've traveled and hit China. Look at how they were treating me. Now, when you see someone walking around with security and translators and cameras, people are going to treat you with respect. I'd never be fool enough to think, oh, this is how they treat Americans. This is how they treat blacks. While I was there and they were treating me so well, at the same time, they were doing racist things toward Africans that were making Western news. Huh? Come on now. Yeah, we're going to get into it today. And I want you all to understand, your minds are so puny and pathetic that you're easily tricked and easily fooled. I'm giving you the tools through which you can judge the world. You can assess information. Do not allow your mind to be so easily confused and persuaded by story and by media. Think twice. Think 3 times. Listen. Malcolm X has been immortalized. You look at him as though he was never a flesh and blood. You look at him as though, in the same way that you look at the characters in the story of the Bible. You think no one compares to him. You see, as Jay-Z said, how am I going to win when you got me fighting ghosts? When people die, we tend to not say bad things about them. We say all of the nice things, all the happy things, which means we're lying. Huh? It means we're lying. We're telling a part of the truth, not the whole truth. Me, I'm here to tell the whole truth. So help me God. Huh? Yes. And no, you may not ask. If you have a question to ask, do it the same way everyone else does. Use the information below or use the super chat feature. Otherwise, kick back and enjoy the content. Like, why disrespect everyone else who sends it in to ask their question? When you're serious about it, then ask your question. Otherwise, kick back. And I'm here to teach masculinity and integrity. Young man said, hey, Marquett, I'd like to have a consultation with you, but I can't afford it. What do I do? Make some money, save some money. That's what you do. You don't get to skip the line. You don't get to take the back door. Do it the real way. Do it the hard way. That's why we have so many men who are not men, because they act like kids and women, asking for freebies, asking for handouts, asking for the easy way. I told him, look, you know what you do if you can't afford it? Do the same thing I do when I can't afford things. I save money. Asking me dumb questions. And listen, I'm just trying to tell you what your father should have taught you, but I don't have a lot of time. You hear me? I ain't got 18 years to raise you. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you in these 18 minutes, it's going to be a little bit rough, buddy. But I'm going to get you through. Yeah. Come on now. Come on now. And look at this nerd. I never heard you correct Anglo men. You're a damn lie. You's a damn lie, boy. I got entire live streams. I got an entire live stream that's called The Fall of the White Man. I got an entire 2-hour live stream. For those of you who would like to watch it, I highly recommend it. It's fascinating. It's on patreon.com/the saint and the sinner, as well as all of the other member sites. And look at this slime ball here. These are the kind of N-words, hard R, that I hate. Yes, and I do mean hate, which is to say if the revolution popped off, I would let a sword drink your blood because you are a weight to the black men. You are a weight. You did something stupid, and instead of saying, hey, you know what, Marquett, I was wrong, I apologize, you start attacking like a broad. You never correct Anglo, man. Who cares? I'm correcting you. Be thankful. When someone corrects me, I am appreciative because they've stopped me from appearing to be a fool once again. You dummy. This is not racism. Imagine you're so idiotic. You accuse another black man of enacting racism on you for trying to improve you. Disgusting. And this is why you will hear me going off on a lot of folks. Because I tell you what, man, the times are desperate. The times are desperate. And the time is limited as well. Yes, the time is limited. I don't do a lot of these topics for fun. Some of these topics I do, and I consider it true work. Yes, it's true work. For example, the next live that I have is discussing, do black people need more religion? Do they need the black Hebrew Israelites? Of course not. It's nonsense. And I'm discussing that, and that's not something I really want to discuss. It's something that must be discussed because people are getting confused. Yes, people are getting confused. That's the only reason I'm talking about it. Hustle Zone writes, they will pay for one of us to kill one of us just to say it was one of us. Exactly. And that's always been a strategy. Shout out to Travel with Trey writes, thank you for defending the most honorable Elijah Muhammad with such vigor. Malcolm X died a hypocrite and a traitor. Nah, we hurl the truth against falsehood so it knocks out brain. Listen, those of you listening, I want you to know I am not a part of the fruit of Islam. I'm not a part of the Nation of Islam. I'm just an intelligent black man who knows value and who understands how revolutions are built, who understands how movements are built. And I know that the enemy, their great effort is to divide and conquer. One thing must dominate. And the Nation of Islam was the most powerful thing when it was around, and it's still around, but now it's broken. But when it was intact, it was the most powerful thing. The greatest effort that the enemy could have done was to take their leading voice, Malcolm X, and bend him to their will, utilizing his own narcissism. Yes, that's what happens when you take a man who is not self-made. You take a man who now has a big head and you use it against him and his people. You see me? You fools might look upon me and think, Marquett, you're not humble. I'm not humble just for fun. I'm humble as appropriate. If you see me in a position of learning, coming in as a student, you will observe humility. You will observe willingness to learn and to be corrected. But when I speak in an area of expertise and knowledge, I will speak with great confidence because the truth demands it. But I tell you what, I will step aside if there's one greater. I don't want to lead anything, to be honest with you. I wish it were already done. I wish someone else would do it. But if the job isn't getting done, I'll step up. If I was a Malcolm X in his position, I would step aside and yield to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad because he is one who is greater. Now, if there wasn't anyone to lead the ship, I'll be the captain on the boat. But here's the thing. I know how to step aside. Malcolm X wanted to be front and center. And it was to the detriment of the black people and the black revolution. Kay writes, if you had a choice to pick a symbol for black people, would you pick Malcolm X or Dr. Martin Luther King? I wouldn't pick either. But if I had to, I would for sure go with Malcolm X. But to say Malcolm X would really be to say the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, because Malcolm X was nothing, nobody, and knew nothing before being blessed and awoken from the dead by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And that's what you guys must understand. You cannot praise the Son without knowing his Father. Come on, Christians, work with me. You cannot praise the Son without respecting his Father. Luis writes, peace of the saints, just tapped in, paying tuition. I know this is about to be fire. Oh, yes, indeed. We have the synagogues of Satan on fire. We have the mockers and the liars on fire. We have the ignorant black masses on fire. Yes, indeed. Yeah, we're going to get after it today. Believe that. And as we go through, show respect to a boss. You can send the information. You can send it below. Your tithes, because this is church. Your tuition, because this is education. Shout out to Austin, writes, peace to the saints. Appreciate you. Now let's get into this work, ladies and saints. No one does it like I do it. Not a single person does it like I do it, because I come in prepared and well-researched. You don't ever hear me speculating. That's why I don't have to say, maybe, I think, no. I talk what I know. And if I don't know, I'll tell you straight away. This I know. Let's get into this work. First thing I want to say is for the Sunni Muslims, Assalamu alaikum. But this does not concern you. I don't want to see you in the live chat saying, oh, hey, you need to follow the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. I don't want to see you in the live chat saying, well, if you read the Quran, your whole life will be better. This is not that time. This is not dawah time. This is not time to say that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad did not know the straight path. This is not that time. Sit down and shut up respectfully. Okay. Much respect to the Deen of Islam. Much respect to the Ummah. But this is not your time to give dawah. I just want that to be known. Okay. Carrying on. Now that that's been announced. Now, the question you should ask, since you guys love Malcolm X so much, who did Malcolm X create? Since he was such a meaningful person in the Black Revolution, who did he create? Did he create anyone famous that you know of, like anyone who's had meaning or impact for the Black Americans? Name somebody. Name one person. Name two persons. You can't. He didn't create any. He has no disciples. Okay. Now, let's take it a step further. And mind you, this is your final warning. You do not make arguments in my live chat. You do not make arguments. You can send your $20 and come online, or you can be blocked. That's it. You do not insult and make slanderous comments in my live chat. Thank you. You've been warned. If he does it again, get him up out of here. You got your $20, send it in. I'll let you come on and make your inaccurate, slanderous comments on air, and then we can address them. We can peel back the foolishness and get to the truth. May I acknowledge Ramon writes, tuition, peace to the saints. Appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones. I also acknowledge Saul writes, peace to the saints. Yes, indeed. I think it's more Latinos supporting than there are Black folks. And that's another reason y'all down bad. You hear me? There's another reason you're down bad. You don't support. Listen, and that's why I give you guys so much pithy game. I say, show love to those who show love to you. Show love to those who show love to you. You see, a lot of Black folks, they'll watch someone who really is for them and then not support them. Extraordinary. But you'll go buy a Kanye West album when he's talking about putting his cousin's wee-wee in his mouth. That's cool, though. Yes, indeed. I'm here to clean you up. And here's the thing. Sometimes people will hear me say, I'll say women are a man's property, which is a fact. You marry that woman, she's your property. The kids too. And people will say, oh, well, that's not nice. Are women wearing these wigs nice? Are women wearing these high heels nice? Are women dying on the surgeon's table trying to get a BBL nice? Are women spending money to go on vacations and girls trips to Miami that they can't afford? Is that nice? No, it's not nice. Are women being single mothers because they're promiscuous? Is that nice? No, it's not nice. They need to be under the leadership of a man. That is in all of the monotheistic religions. And it is written in our souls. And I don't speak from any of those books. I speak from that which is written on my soul. Knowing what is right and wrong naturally. I'm reestablishing the natural order. A woman in her place. A man on his throne. Come on now. Yeah, it might not sound cute to you. It might not sound nice to you. But it is the right thing. Come on now. Yeah, we're going to get to it today. Yes, indeed. Buckle up, little buddy. Shout out to Game 6 Hove supporting the work. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's the funny thing is you might be talking directly to the souls of Black folks. They act like they don't hear you. That's how you know they're lost. You speak directly to the plight of Black folks and they sit back, dead spiritually, dead mentally. Act like they don't know what's going on. Yeah, I see you. And you wonder, why is there a level of manic intensity? Because I see the problem. Oh, it's so serious. Now I ask you fools who would say Malcolm X wasn't a traitor. Okay. Let's start at the beginning. Who did he create that makes him so important beyond being a great speech maker? You know what? One thing we have to give the Black people credit for is that we have an excellent tradition of orators. We are, in fact, I would challenge, per capita, the best orators on earth. Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. We have a certain rhythm and understanding of language and music that just makes us able to enchant with the word. We have a lot of orators, but I tell you what, talking doesn't get the job done. Being able to talk it is not as good as being able to walk it. Did you figure that part out yet? You might be able to talk your way into a job, but you got to be able to deliver the goods at the job, unless you will be fired, huh? Come on now. So yeah, he was a great talker, but we got a lot of great talkers. That's why blacks have so many churches per capita in their neighborhoods, huh? So who did Malcolm X create? He didn't create anyone. Who did he really influence? He didn't influence anyone. What was his idea system, his ideology? There wasn't one. It's a joke. Anyways, you guys are so impressed with his talking. How many times did talking pay your bills? How many times did talking heal your family? No, you need culture. You need training. You need the tools. You need the organization. You need the community. Talking is not enough. Speeches are fantastic, but they don't get the job done. So that's number one. Malcolm X created nothing, nil. Carrying on. I want everyone to record that all of a sudden, with thousands of people watching this live stream, no one would step forward to speak up on behalf of their hero. Why? Because they know that they have no facts. But you will see these fools and these mockers in the chat, in the safety of the chat, in the anonymity of the comments. They'll be in the comments babbling like fools. Now let's carry on. Let me teach. Who's that man? That's a bad man right there. Anybody ever seen that man? Yes. That man, he started his life under the name Cassius Clay. Cassius. Doesn't that sound like some Roman emperor of some sort? Cassius. I'm Cassius Clay, Augustus Caesar. Cassius. Cassius Clay was his name. Cassius sounds like some important nobleman. White nobleman. Clay, sounds like an Anglo name. He is clearly not Anglo. But at this point in which you see him, at the height of his fame and glory, at the height of his strength, physical, spiritual, and mental, he is not known as Cassius Clay. He is known as Muhammad Ali. And he was named Muhammad Ali by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He was created by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He is not known for being an excellent boxer, which he was. He is best known for being a leader, a revolutionary, for being one of the greatest of black men, for being willing to not go to war and kill other colored people around the world because a white man told him to. He is known for being a revolutionary. He is known for going against the grain. He is known for being the best among us. All of which came from his activities outside of the ring and from his integrity inside of his heart and the knowledge inside of his head, which was put there by none other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Who did the most honorable Elijah Muhammad create? He created one that you know as Muhammad Ali. He gave him that name. So why are you talking about Malcolm X? Did you know that? Did you know that? Yeah, we're going to talk about it. You guys like all the cute stuff. You guys like all them purple goofy outfits that the Hebrew Israelites wear. You like them goofy outfits. You like to hold the white man's Bible. You like to hold the Arab's Quran. That's what you like to do. Yeah, you hate yourself. You don't believe in yourself. We're going to get into it today. Yes, sir. Bobby, shout out to Mr. Morris, writes, thank you for putting respect on the messenger's name. Oh, I have to. It's not from a religious perspective. It's from a perspective of him putting in work. Yeah, if you put in work, I'm going to give you your respect. Why? Because you earned it. If I didn't give it to you, I would be taking it away, and that would be unjust. Shout out to Mr. Gardner, writes, Peace of the Saints, tuition. I also acknowledge Ryan, writes, my bad, this makes 20. Okay, I think that was the first one I saw from you, Ryan. Anyway, shout out to Omari, writes, tuition for the knowledge. Oh, and there will be more where this comes from. Thank you to the real ones. Shout out to those men who stand up, make their name known. Shout out to those men who pay what they owe. We're going to get this work. Now, who you know do PowerPoints like me? Ain't nan YouTuber. Huh? Shout out to Chunk. He writes, teach, I'm here to learn. Well, let's get this work then. Oh, they going to get this work today. Buddy writes, Quran is for both mankind and jinn, not for one race or tribe. Wile E. Coyote, I totally understand. I totally understand what you're saying, but you don't understand what I'm saying. See, that's the problem. I understand what you're saying, but you don't understand what I'm saying. Got you. I get what you're saying, but you don't get what I'm saying. When you have better understanding, then type in the live chat. And remember what I stated at the beginning. Shout out to my Sunni Muslims. Alhamdulillah, I appreciate you all being here. But this is not for you to do dawah. So think before you speak. And if you have something you really need to say that's contradictory, send it in and come on screen. Otherwise, sit down and shut up because you don't even understand what I was saying, boy. You don't even comprehend what I was saying. What you need to comprehend is that the black man is always going elsewhere for the knowledge, for the spirituality. He is so lost. The Arab has Islam. They say, hey, it came from our land. And if you would like to learn our religion, let you learn it in Arabic, our language. You'll be closer to God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Jewish man says, Judaism, it's ours. If you'd like to learn it, learn Hebrew, our language. And you can be like us because we're the best. We the best. The white man says Christianity, it's our thing. And Jesus, he's white too. And if you want to be a Christian, worship this white guy on the cross. And mind you, if Jesus is white and he's a component of God, then God's white. The black man goes everywhere else to get his idols and his religion and his God. That's the point, goofball. So sit down and shut up when you don't understand the point, okay? Thank you. And there will be no dawah here. I want to encourage all the Muslims to do the thing I've been encouraging them to do before, which is go give dawah to the people who are already saying that they're Muslims. Why, Marquett? They're already Muslims. Why would you need to give them dawah? Because they're not following the deen of Islam. The Afghans in Canada are all drinkers. The women in United Arab Emirates are all hookah users and slores. Huh? Come on now. That's why. You got fat Muslims throughout the United States. Do you think they're really fasting during the holy month of Ramadan? No, they're not. Go give dawah to them. Make them practice the religion they say they practice. Stop trying to colonize here. So sit down and shut up. Okay, thank you. Anyways, shout out to Jose, writes tithes. Shout out to the real ones. The black folks still ain't here, huh? They still ain't here. They still lost. Shout out to RTBLA. He writes, peace to the saints. Tuition, thank you, Commander. # member. And shout out to those who are really part of this thing of ours. Shout out to Darren. He writes, tuition, peace to the saints. We're going to get this work today. Yes, indeed. I'm booted up, man. Yeah, I've been in slow-mo all day, carrying the burden of black stupidity all day, burdened and bothered by it. But you're going to get this work today. Yes, indeed. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad created that beautiful black brother that you see right there. Handsome, charming, vicious, knowledgeable, fearless. We call him Muhammad Ali, which is what he was named by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's what we call him. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad created him. Not just him, though. Many. He created many strong black men, not black men who claim they're strong, not black men who pretend to be strong. They're strong in the body, weak in the mind. No. He created the real deal. Yes. The kind that must have been the pharaohs back in the day. Huh? Yes, he created the real deal. I want to encourage my moderators to move even more quickly. Give me 1 sec. Go ahead, send in your comments, questions. Send in your ties right now. Just want to clean up the chat. We have too many overweight, impoverished lowlifes in the chat. We're going to clean them up. Yes, sirree, Bob. We are going to clean them up so we can have some spiritual purity here. And I want you guys to notice how there's just so much fear. That they're so in fear of coming online and expressing themselves, but they'll be there in the comments. And I want everyone to reply to them when they make comments and say, no, be silent. Be silent the way you were silent when you were watching the live stream. Be silent. Don't start talking in the comments. Be silent the way you were when you were watching the live stream. You had every opportunity to come on and represent yourself. Be silent. Look at bro. LOL. Anyone who starts a sentence or even writes LOL is a grown man. Already you're an imbecile. You're gone. He's out of here. And mind you, we can debate whatever you like. If you have the evidence to contradict me, I invite you guys to come online, but you don't. All you have are lies. These people speak in the way Zionists speak. Lies. Lies. You're going to get this work today, though. Pay attention. Yes, indeedy. Go. Just adjusting a few settings here, and we're going to be back at it. You know, the funny thing. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Now let's work. Let us work. Carrying on. So the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I call him the most honorable Elijah Muhammad because that was his title. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Today, Farrakhan, the brother minister Louis Farrakhan, is known as the honorable Louis Minister Farrakhan. And so I call them according to their title, according to what they're known as within their organization. Speaking of Farrakhan, there he is right there. He, too, like Malcolm X, was a young, fair-skinned, good-looking, charming, well-spoken, sophisticated man. In fact, I'd say he was a lot more sophisticated than Malcolm X. Malcolm X was, in fact, provincial, as I stated previously. And all the evidence is there, and I can go through it if you need me to. Whereas Farrakhan had everything that Malcolm X had in the way of speaking ability, handsomeness, complexion, and he added to that musical talent, sophistication, experience. He was really, quite an impressive guy. The only deficiency that he had is that he wasn't able to keep the steam in the organization and manage the finances as well. But he's a very impressive guy. And those of you who are around today, look at this again. You have people here lying. So he says Elijah was messing with kids. You're out of here because I told you guys, if you have an argument, you can come on and present it. And I will address your slander. He wasn't messing with kids. Now, let me ask you guys this. He was accused of messing with kids in 1960, right? By Malcolm X, not by the American government, not by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, not by anybody. He was accused by Malcolm X in 1960. Also, if you guys are familiar with history, you would know that he was known as a hate teacher, a hate preacher. Yes, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was known as a hate preacher because he taught that the white man, the blue-eyed, blonde-haired white man, is the devil. Not devil-like, but the devil incarnate. That being the case, they called him a hate teacher, right? When I say they, I'm talking about the mainstream media, the society at large, which was majority white. So also remember 1960, you have black people who were either facing de jure or de facto segregation, disenfranchisement, redlining, all of these bad things. So if you're in an era where blacks are very much so second-class citizens and you have a guy who's calling whites devils and he's known as a hate teacher and he's hunted by the American government, do you think if they had the opportunity to put him in jail for touching youngsters, they wouldn't have done it? Come on. That's how we know it's a lie. That's how we know it's ridiculous. Because, of course, they would have taken that opportunity. They put Martin Luther King in jail for a lot less. Right? So why wouldn't they put the guy in jail who said that the whites are devils? Of course they would. So that's how you know it's a lie. And people repeat lies. That's one of the first things I learned when I started to get a little bit of fame is people will say a lie and people will repeat it because they hate you. And why do they hate you? It's usually because they're jealous. That's usually what it just comes back to is they're jealous. They can't identify with you. That's all it is. So that one was just destroyed. That argument was destroyed quite easily. You all would have to admit that if a guy calls white people the devil and is known as a hate preacher, and it's 1960 and he's running an all-black organization, they take any effort to put him in jail. And for some reason, they missed out on the easy opportunity to get him for abusing minors. Come on now. Silliness. Utter silliness. May I acknowledge Quentin? He writes, tuition. Must support high quality content. Peace to the saints. I appreciate you. Shout out to Ernest. He writes, support the high quality game in a real way. Shout out to King Florio. Good to see you. I also acknowledge Matthew. Shout out to Mark, writes, salute. Yes, indeed. Salute. The infamous astrologist, not the astrologist. He writes, could this be reckless and destructive emotion? Are you the better example through the NOI than those who character and legacy you are destroying? I'm going to try to read that again because the English didn't make sense to me. Maybe it made sense to some of you, but it did not make sense to me. And I got a nearly perfect score on the SAT. My English skills are A1. Let's try it again. Could this be reckless and destructive emotion? Well, destructive to whom? Reckless emotion? No, but destructive to whom? That'll be the question. Then secondly, he writes, are you the better example through the NOI than those who character see? Okay, so the English is bad here. And the English is bad. I appreciate you sending in your question. I just can't understand it. Shout out to Mr. Lopez, writes, peace of the saints, tuition. Appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones. And there's no disrespect to the last super chatter. I just frankly couldn't understand your question. And also it says $20 or more. So I was doing you a favor to even address it. But I just couldn't understand it. And look at this idiot right here. This person, this is one of those dumb black Hebrew this or that's talking about, I'm unfollowing. Bro, leave. You don't even need to say that. Just leave, dip. And then secondly, they're like, you must be a Masonic plant. Like, what are you talking about, stupid? If someone doesn't agree with you, now they're a plant. He doesn't agree with me. He's a plant. Like, see, this is the level of low IQ. Also, I would like to just blanketly disrespect everyone who has dumb names like this. Yehuda Amalama Sumalama. Like, bro, stop with the nonsense. How you got a Hebrew name and the only word you know in Hebrew is your name? You don't speak Hebrew. Stop it with the nonsense. This is my problem with black folks, is that they can't just be themselves. They can't use logic. There's such high levels of low IQ and low self-esteem. You want to associate with something else other than your blackness. Bro calling himself Yaba Laba Suba. Like, bro, sit down. Your name is Tyrone, my nil. Your name is Tyrone Jones. Talking about, I'm a Samalama Wuma and all praise be to Yeshua. Bro, all praise be to you sitting down and shutting up. Bro, go ahead and unfollow. You're an idiot. You act like that matters at all. Bro, I have 100-something thousand followers. You unfollowing literally I can't even notice it. That's number one. Number two, you unfollowing or following doesn't make me any money. You're an idiot. Like, stop thinking you're more important than you are. That's why I try to encourage you guys, is live in reality. Like, I don't walk around the earth thinking I'm more important than I am. I'm just a bald head that I happen to know more than most of y'all. That's all I am. But I'm nobody special. I could walk out and get gunned down by one of you jealous rascals any day. You hear me? Like, we have to stop thinking we're special. I don't know what. Were you watching Sesame Street and they kept telling you that you're somebody? Let me tell you, you're nobody. You're not a Hebrew Israelite. You're nobody. There's a camera. You're nobody, okay? But I'm encouraging you to be somebody and show the best of who you are, not who you want to be, who you're described as in the Bible. I'm talking about in 2025, my boy, not 3,000 years ago. Be proud of who you are today, and you'll be proud when you actually do something. The reason a lot of you people are like, I hate when he talks about his education. Well, you don't hate that. You hate that you don't have education. I hate when he talks about the corporations he's run. You don't hate that. You hate that you've been a wage slave. I hate when he talks about his money. I don't even talk about my money like that, to be honest with you, but you hate that you don't have any. And so what I encourage you guys to do is get right so you can stop hating on the next man. Secondly, I teach you guys wealth through unity. It is when we come together that we're all wealthy, and the truest wealth is not in the dollar. It's in the unity, my brothers and my sisters. Come on now, work with me. Yeah, and I want to let you guys all know, all this Yamalama, I'm a Hebrew purple Ninja Turtle outfit, I don't respect none of it. It's assassin or nothing. You heard me? And we are going to conquer all of you. And I'm going to let you live for now, but at some point, I'm coming for you. For now, I'm going to let you live. Carrying on. Shout out to Christopher. I appreciate you. May I also acknowledge Charles. He writes, tuition, peace to the saints. I also acknowledge Hits Differently sent in the super sticker. He ain't even had nothing to say. He just want to show respect, and I appreciate it. You dig? Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get into it. And the funny thing to me is you got the I'm an Israeli Hebrew satellite I'm a Hebrew black satellite purple wearing. Like, bro, knock it off. And then they want to claim that, the Bible describes the white man as X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, the Bible also describes you as a slave. You want to teach black people that they were cursed? Yeah, that's what they need to hear. That'll encourage them. You're a goofball, and I won't stand for it. We're not playing nice no more. We're being real. We're not playing nice. We're going to let you special ed characters keep running your yappers. Shout out to Travis. He writes, what are your thoughts on the Nation of Islam and the Church of Scientology forming an alliance together in recent years? I spoke on this previously. I think it's the most wicked betrayal of the true ideology and religion that is known as the Nation of Islam. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has very clear statements on such things in his crowning work entitled Message to the Black Man. And I think that it is utterly despicable. However, I understand that there may have been very practical things that the brother minister Louis Farrakhan had to achieve. And so I get it, but I don't respect it. And I think it's very disappointing. And frankly, it spells the end of the Nation of Islam. Thank you for that question. Shout out to Bucky. He writes, thank you for defending the truth against these Ziles. Oh, man, I can't help it because they are such a devious, dishonest bunch of characters. And we will not allow colonization to go on without us resisting. Shout out to Jay. He writes, I'm here for the lesson and I'm open to what you have to say. Please teach. I appreciate that. Shout out to those men who are men, which is to say who are reasonable. I may acknowledge Kevin comes in by PayPal. He writes, tuition. What happened between Malcolm and the Nation of Islam was truly a tragedy for all black people worldwide, not just in America. It is important that we understand the truth of what happened so that we don't continue to make the same mistakes. That's correct. And that's precisely why I speak on it. I speak on it because the great effort of the enemy is to divide and conquer you, dummy. So they want to separate you. They want to make you weak. So when you have a strong organization with a great leader who is inspired, who is knowledgeable, who is clean, what they're going to do is they're going to throw dirt on them. They're going to put lies on them. And then they're going to try to break apart the organization. They're going to try to make this man think he should be the leader. They're going to try to make this man not believe in the leader. They're going to try to make this woman put accusations on the leader, and you cannot let that happen. You must be a true believer and a true follower. Why? Because we're talking about civilizations here. The Western civilization is in decline. Are you going to fall and burn down with it, or are you going to rise up? Come on now. Come on now. That's what they're going to do to you. Yes. I tell you, I'm not a part of this civilization which finances bombs dropped on children. I'm not a part of that civilization. No, sir, Bob. I'm not a part of a lying, stinking, rotten government that claims they don't want immigrants, but they've been letting immigrants in since before I was born. I'm not going to be a part of that civilization. They lying too much. No, sir, Bob. I'm not going to be a part of a civilization where they give gender reaffirming care, aka mutilating the bodies of our youth. I won't be a part of that one. So, sir, we are at war with that organization, with that civilization. So understand this. They are not going to give up power easily. No, sir, Bob. They're going to lie. They're going to fight. They're going to do everything they can. So I ask you, when someone rises up among you, are you going to follow? When it's time for revolution, are you going to do what is necessary? Or will you be in the background as a detractor, grumbling and gossiping about the leader instead of following him because he's the best you got? I don't want to hear about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad slept with his secretaries. He damn sure did. Yes, he damn sure did. I bet they was fine as hell too. I bet they was. Fresh water. Now, was it worth damaging the revolution? No, because that was irrelevant. It was immaterial. The FBI also published the fact that Martin Luther King was having extramarital affairs. Was that worth crashing the goddamn movement? Absolutely it wasn't. And that's why Coretta King stayed down like 4 flats. You dig on a Cadillac. So, understand me. Malcolm X didn't leave because he thought that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was immoral. He left because he wanted to be the leader. And the Nation of Islam believed in their leader, and they wouldn't allow him to displace the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because Malcolm X, let me tell you guys this, trip on this. He was famous among the blacks, and he was gaining fame internationally. He was gaining fame among the Muslims, the Sunni Muslims. He was gaining fame among the whites. And he wanted to be the top dog. He didn't want to take orders from the Nation of Islam's leader, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And that's why I teach you hierarchy, 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 hierarchy. You need it in your family. You need it on your football team. You need it in your company. And you need it in the revolutionary. Hierarchy. Follow the leader. Everybody want to be the leader. Well, somebody got to be the Indian and one person gets to be the chief. It is what it is. Come on now. Yeah, come on now. I've damn near been mad all day thinking about the stupidity. Huh? He writes, Saint, read Malachi. But why? Why? Why do I need to read Malachi? What is Malachi about to teach me? Who's Malachi? Where he at? Bring him here. I don't want to read it. Tell him to come tell me. Who's Malachi? What do I need to read Malachi for? Pull up Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Deuteronomy, he who walketh in the purple is like, bro, like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that. I ain't trying to hear that, Sharif. Nah, Sharif, I ain't trying to hear that. I ain't trying to hear it from Malachi. If you want me to hear Malachi, bring him over here. Let me hear something from him. Let Malachi say it. Nah, Brody, let me tell you something. A damn book that you've been using for hundreds of years and it ain't profited you yet? Hell nah. You can keep it, buddy. You can keep it. You got enslaved by a Christian nation. And that's what's going to save you? Stop it. Some of you guys got enslaved by a Muslim nation. And that's what's going to save you? Stop it. He writes, bruh, it speaks on the coming of Elijah Muhammad. I ain't no damn Hebrew Israelite. Yeah, but here's the thing, man. What do I need that book for? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he's already come and he's already did his thing. His works are evident. I don't have to justify it with a white man's Bible or an Arab man's Quran. I don't have to justify it with a Jewish man's Torah. He walked upon the earth. He did his work. I don't have to justify it with a damn thing. And when I tell you guys that Skittle guzzling is bad, I don't have to justify it with a Bible that says it's an abomination. Marquett D.Burton said it was an abomination. I don't need to get back up on things that are obviously true. I'm not speaking to him being divinely ordained in a book. I'm speaking to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad walking among you and I and doing the work that served the people, giving the people jobs, cleaning them up off of drugs and alcohol, making the women dress modestly. That's what I'm speaking of. I don't need a reference for that. The reference is in the work. And no disrespect to you, brother, but you see I'm lit out here. Don't bring me those words. It's Sasson or nothing. We don't need it. Yes, indeed. See, that's the problem, is that people think they have to go back to the white man's book or the Arab man's book or the Jewish man's book. Nah, I don't have to do that. Nah, I'm speaking of what is written on the souls of all of humankind. The Arabs call it the fitra, your natural sense of right and wrong. I'm speaking to that which is written on all of your souls. Yes, I speak to the God in you, not the God in the book, but the God in you is what I speak to. I don't need the book. Come on now. That book ain't done a lot for you guys, but you still love bringing it up. It's fascinating. I acknowledge Kevin. He writes, sent a question yesterday via. Interesting. You're going to need to resend that offline when we're not on this live stream so that it doesn't get drowned out. A very high email volume, as you might imagine. I appreciate your question and your support. Now, also acknowledge Jude writes, Peace of the Saints. Okay, I already read that one. My apologies. Just trying to make sure I don't miss anyone. Bucky writes, I love listening to your intellectual conversations. Why is it so easy for the government and media to brainwash the masses? You know what is unfortunate? The human being, unrefined, is rather unimpressive. It is the educational experience that makes us sophisticated and harder to fool. That's why it has been said many times that a democracy requires a free press and good public education, typically compulsory. In the absence of good public education and an unfree press, we find that the masses are ignorant, easily distracted, really reduced to the lower animals, damn near. And that is why we are so easily victim. We have so many men who are not men, and they even argue for the things that keep them in a state of being weak. I was remarking to a young lady recently. I said, I find it hard to accept the idea that grown men play video games. When I was a child, I didn't even play video games, which is to say, I had bigger fish to fry. I was in crippling poverty. I knew that I deserved better. I didn't have a moment to waste. And I was a child, and I knew that. The reason I speak to you all, and I don't need to use your goofy books, I don't need to use your fictional books, is because I speak to the God that you can all appeal to, the God inside of you, when you are living in a natural way and when you are unfettered by all of the nonsense. You see, there's a natural sense of right and wrong that you can feel if you would only get rid of the layers of filth on top of you. Marquett, why is it? You see a lot of Muslims, they say to me, "Oh, brother, are you a Muslim?" And I know why they say that. They say that because I don't drink alcohol, never have, never tasted alcohol. I don't smoke. I live a pretty clean life. And they think the reason that he lives a clean life is because of the Deen of Islam. No, I live a clean life because I could always look and see right from wrong. And I was never tempted one bit to smoke marijuana or to use drugs. I looked at it. It was clearly bad. I felt repulsed by it. I did not want it. It was not in my nature. It is not in God's nature. God does not need something man-made to enhance him. Not the heroin, not the cigarettes, none of it. You see? Now, the funny thing is that the Muslims will say, are you Muslim, brother? Alhamdulillah, mashallah, mashallah, you follow the deen? They think because of my conduct, I was influenced to follow the deen. Now, that's funny because most of the Muslims, you see, they do smoke, they do drink, they do hookah, they smoke hashish. So it's like people aren't being realistic. They always look at things with rosy glasses. People fail to be accurate. Because human beings, they move on emotion so often. And that's why I'm trying to teach a new culture. Shout out to the ballers. Lag Mystic writes, "Peace to the saints. Black man here to teach." Oh, yes, indeed. I appreciate you. Shout out to the ballers. Ballers done pulled up. Stop Playing Trey writes, "People don't realize these books mean nothing. They only give the book power because they have none." Peace to the saints. Whew. Whew. They ain't ready for that. They ain't ready. You can't tell them too much truth at once. Marcus writes, "What's the link, Saint? Also, one of your mods blocked my page. I'm writing for someone else. YouTube this, Mr. 6'5". Okay, got you. So I'll bring you on. Now, one, that's crazy. You must have said something that violated. You must have violated. My guys got you out. You must have violated. Shout out to CJ. He writes, "Thanks, brother. Keep speaking the truth." Oh, yes. And not only do we speak the truth, we act on the truth. We live by the truth. Speaking the truth is the least of it. And I thank you for that. He writes, "Many don't often realize how Jewish communities have been expelled throughout history due to the same patterns of behavior we still see today." Oh, absolutely. And the truth is coming to light. But I tell you what, we criticize the white Jews so much, but do we learn anything from them? Do we learn how to deal with them, or do we learn how to emulate the smart things they do? No, we don't. But don't worry, I'm going to teach. Shout out to Mr. Morris writes, "The FBI files were found to have monitored the messenger more than anyone on the planet." Oh, I believe it. An intelligent one would ask why they were so threatened. Oh, exactly. And we know that they were threatened. That's precisely why you guys know the name Malcolm X, but you do not know the name the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was more dangerous than Malcolm X. Because here's the thing. Malcolm X, who did he create? Nobody. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he created so many warriors, so many revolutionaries. He birthed so many strong black men to fight in this cause. So, of course, they wanted to make sure that you don't know his name. It's the same reason that I'm not getting into it, man. I'm not getting into it. Anyways, there's the link for 6'5". And there's the link to the Black Box. That's the book y'all need. You hear me? That's the book you really need. You Bible thumpers out there. Shout out to the Black Onyx writes, "Off topic. What are your thoughts on Jehovah's Witnesses?" Yeah, I like Jehovah's Witnesses, man. I agree with you. They are very serious about their members adhering. I'm not really deep into their ideology, but it seems fine on the surface of it. I haven't heard anything particularly peculiar. They seem to respect the word. They have an excellent structure and organization. I've been to their places of worship before, very clean. My aunt, Allie Mae Hightower, was a Jehovah's Witness. And you can read in my book, I mentioned that. And frankly, she was one of the most God-fearing, respectable persons I've ever met in my entire life by far. Her sister, my grandmother, D.Burton, on the other hand, was a Southern Baptist Christian, and it taught me a lot of great things in her old age when she was sober. I don't mean sober from substance; I mean sober, like the sobering of old age. But she was also quite a gossiper and just had so much negativity in her. It's extraordinary to see that in one family. But they were in different religions, and I think the Jehovah's Witness organization it's a fairly impressive organization. So I do like what they do. Thank you for asking. Eric writes, I'll have to catch the live later. Absolutely. And I appreciate you showing up and showing your support. Not everyone does. And by the way, I did drop that link for the gentleman who said he wanted to join on. Anyways, the gentleman, Bucky writes, can you go into, excuse me, why is it, oh yeah, can you, okay, great. Thank you for that one by PayPal. Shout out to Patrick supporting the work. He says, shout out to you, big homie. That killer talk gets me turned. Bro, you know, at some point, that's what it's going to come to. You see, the funny thing about the blacks is black people, man, they are so freaking into kumbaya. They're so scared and cowardly and have such low self-esteem that they always are talking about, like, can't we all just get along? That's what got you in bondage, is that openness that you colored peoples of the earth always have. You know, the same thing that the Aztecas and the Mayas and the Cherokees and the Navajo, that openness and that friendliness. You weren't protecting the nation. You're so inclined to behave in an effeminate way as a mass. Too open. We're in a different era now. You must adapt. Yes, the blacks always so sensitive. And then they focus on irrelevant things. You know how many black people are like, brother, you ain't black. Use a this or that and fill in the blank with something stupid. Use a Hebrew Israelite. Use a Jew. Use a Native American. You're the real Indian. You're an Aboriginal. It's like, bro, shut up. I don't need to hear any of that. You see, you get so concerned with what we're going to call ourselves, but you're not concerned with what we're going to do with ourselves. I'm concerned with that part. What are we going to do? How do we lift up the black masses? I don't even care what you call the black masses, but you're concerned with the words and the language, which is to say the talk, and you miss out on the walk. And the reason that blacks are so concerned with the talk is because it's easy. They want to do what's easy. That's what the weak do. They do what is easy, what is convenient. Huh? Yes. And that has led you to your current stagnation. Yes, indeedy. Oh, they do what is easy. And you guys revere the preachers and the pastors and the speakers. That's why Dr. Umar can exist. He's a talker, but when it was time to walk and build the school has still not come. He could only do that to the blacks because they will get mesmerized by the words. And he's not even that great of a speaker. You ever hear someone repeat the phrase 3 times every time? My black people, hit the Cash App, and you can write checks or money order, the FDG Academy. Yes, the FDGMG Academy. I am the son of Marcus Garvey. Yes, I am the son of Marcus Garvey. I am the son of Mark. It's like, bro, we heard you the first time, man. You the son of Marcus Garvey. You the mama of Frederick Douglass. Yeah, all of that. Yeah, we heard it, bro. And we don't buy it and we don't care. Who buys that stuff? Nonsense. Today's religious talk writes, black people should unite on the basis of common suffering and not religious, not on the basis of common suffering. Come on, bro. This again is the stuff I'm talking about, man. And this is the kind of mentality people talk about grinding. I talk about gliding. Would you rather glide or would you rather grind? Unite based on suffering. That's not inspiring. See, this is the problem. The Europeans today, the Westerners today, they're lost. They're lost. What do they used to build back in the day? They would build statues that are in a style called heroic realism, which is to say strong men, women who are gorgeous, well-shaped, men who could carry burdens and carry weight and triumph. Now they create abstract art where people are disfigured. It's degenerate. It shows degeneracy in the society. Black folks, we want to unite on our suffering. Hell no. We want to unite on thriving. We want to unite on the beautiful culture that we have spread around the world with jazz music, rock and roll music, various forms of dance, innovations in science. We create the filament that makes the light bulb work for a significant amount of time. We created the stoplight. We created the pioneering methods in separating occipitally conjoined craniospagus twins. We created the gas mask. We created so many things that I could name, and I don't have time. We want to unite on the basis of excellence and on the basis of a bright future, not on suffering. That was yesterday. We're trying to look forward. Shout out to Mr. Goat. Writes Malcolm interpose. Is that a word? Interpose? Did bro just teach me a word? Let me see. Interpose. Interpose. Place or insert between. Okay, very good. Interpose from the NOI, from differences to obliterate white supremacy. He was censored. Okay, that sentence did not make sense. Yeah, that sentence didn't make sense. But if you want to come on and elaborate, feel free. And mind you, Malcolm X, stop believing. Just come on and talk it through, because that didn't quite make sense. Mr. Khalid writes, peace of the saints from Toronto again. Thank you for exposing those devils. Funny how when I post about Palestine, my Instagram starts logging me out and acting funny. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, people be like, hey, I tried to share your video. It won't let me share it. I tried to click the like button. Won't let me like it. Right, stay safe. They will try to set you up for sure. Oh, it's already begun. It has already begun. But this we've seen coming. And we will do what our ancestors have always done, which is to fight. But this time we win. You heard me? Yeah, this time we win. I've been created to deal with these people. Yes, I am a creation that especially is here to deal with these devils. Yes, indeed. Okay, we go. Oh, and do you guys notice no one would come debate me on this topic, but they had so much to say in the comments. You guys don't find that funny? I find that to be funny. Let's carry on. So I just want to remind you guys, Cassius Clay, he was elevated from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali, whom you all know. Legend. He was a creation of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The honorable minister Louis Farrakhan was created by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And some of you guys are not as familiar because he is from a bygone time. You do not know the greatness of the brother minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm going to just give you guys a quick clip so that you might be a touch more familiar. And you see, this is the importance of knowing your history and knowing your heroes and knowing what you come from. And no, you don't have to read a fictional book and look back 5,000 years to find a great black people or a great black man. You can look back at those who still walk the earth today, and the great things they did was just a blink away. Okay, so let me go ahead and bless you here. Let me go ahead and bless you. This is when he was on the Phil Donahue show. And me, I always tell you, Marquettism is not a racist ideology. Quite the opposite. It is for all of mankind. And I can tell you that Phil Donahue is one of the most sincere, honest, honorable white men I've heard speak and, give platform to many folks who have been important in the black struggle. And that is why I cannot sign off on people who are becoming racist in fighting racism. It's not quite right. Assassin or nothing. Marquettism is for the kids. Marquettism saves lives.
With just a bit more energy than you opened the Donahue show. Here's what you said to a predominantly black audience in New Orleans.
Why should our people have to subsist on charity or live in poor houses when we built the country for you, fought, bled, and died to maintain the country for you? You ask us to pay taxes like everybody else. Wait a minute, we don't get justice. We give you our tax dollar to support a police department that doesn't respect us. We give you our tax dollar to support education that does not educate us properly. We give you our tax dollars. You spend $4 billion each year on Israel to maintain.
Whoa. Farrakhan, did you say they spent $4 billion on Israel? But this is not 2025 or 2024 or 2023 or 2022. This was long ago, before I was even born. So you're telling me that the Israel thing is not new, Marquett. Marquett, you're a genius. Marquett, I'm glad that you are so well steeped in history and that you can bring this to the people, because they keep thinking things are new when things are not new. Thank you, Marquett. Oh, and who brought the honorable minister Louis Farrakhan to the masses so that he could share information like this? None other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. You guys are just now realizing that the Zionists are so wicked and vicious. Who was saying this years ago? Who was writing books on this years ago? The Nation of Islam. Aha. So as you guys can see, The Minister Louis Farrakhan is a brilliant man, very articulate, and I would even argue as well spoken, if not better spoken than Malcolm. And undoubtedly, off the cuff, he's far superior to Malcolm. They both give a good speech, but off the cuff, Farrakhan he's good. He's really good. And I know who's good at public speaking. So anyways, I just want to give you guys a little taste of that so you have a sense of, what the Nation of Islam, that is to say, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad has produced. And I'm not done. He's produced more. So when I tell you guys that Malcolm X was just a student of his, he was just one of many. He was just one who learned. You get so excited about him. That's because the whites have elevated him. That's because mainstream media has elevated him. And they've tried to hide the one with the real knowledge because he's the dangerous one. The one with the real knowledge is the dangerous one. Malcolm X was just a mouthpiece. Who's dangerous? Malcolm X or the person who can create Malcolm X's, the person who can create Malcolm 4X, the person who can multiply, who can create Malcolm X to the second power, the person who can multiply that type of man. He is the danger, ladies and saints. You're welcome. You'd be a fool to have argued against that. Mr. 6 Foot, talk to me. What's on your mind, boss man?
What's going on, Saint? How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm blessed, brother. Good to see you again, man.
Likewise. Thank you for coming.
Most definitely. What's your so I'm trying to understand. So what are your thoughts about Islam? Do you think this the religion to follow or what?
This is not a conversation about Islam. The topic of this conversation is Malcolm X was a traitor who betrayed the Black Revolution. I try not to talk much about religion because Black people have more than enough religion. In fact, the data indicates that they have the highest rates of religiosity. They also have the highest rates of things like illegitimacy. So I stay out of religion because that is not the solution.
Okay. So what do you think the solution is?
Well, that's not the topic of this conversation either.
Okay.
The topic of this conversation is, was Malcolm X a traitor who betrayed the Black Revolution?
I agree with that.
There you go. All praises due.
All
praises due.
Well, I'm gonna let you finish your lesson. I thought we was gonna dig in a little deeper into some other things, but it's cool. I respect that.
No, I appreciate that. And I respect you respecting the topic because often people don't. We do have something coming up within the next couple of days that I think you'll be able to sink your teeth into, which is a discussion entitled, do Black people need more religion? Will the Hebrew Israelites save the Black masses? I think that'll be your bread and butter.
We're going to talk behind the scenes on that one.
All right.
Also, you made a statement. You said something. I know you was joking, but somebody had blocked me in a comment. I didn't do anything. I don't know why they did that. Like, damn, what I do?
What was your name in the comments?
It's Mr. 6_foot_5.
Okay, so it was your actual YouTube name. Okay, yeah, they got you up out of there.
The other day when we went live, I don't know.
It was done the other day, not today.
Yeah, it was the other day. I tried to just randomly send a donation to you, and it wouldn't go through. And I'm just like, damn. But whatever.
And you tried to chat, and it wouldn't let you chat either.
It wouldn't let me do a super chat.
Okay.
It wouldn't let me do a regular chat.
I think you got to, if you don't mind, if you just email me your I think you got to send your YouTube URL for me to actually go through and pull that out.
Okay.
Unless there's a smarter way, let me know. I usually don't have to go through and unblock people, but I think if you send your YouTube URL, we'll be able to take that off.
It's underneath the email you got listed on here, correct? Where it says marquett@gmail.com.
Yeah, absolutely. You can send it there. And if you'd be kind enough to just send it after the stream, because I don't want to miss it, because people are emailing that right now. I don't want to miss it.
Cool, I got you. All right, well, go ahead and finish your live, man. And peace to the Saints, man.
Peace to the Saints. Good to see you.
All right, you too, bro.
Shout out to that brother. That brother's always looking clean, looking good. And that's what I love to see. I absolutely love to see that. That's a good representation of us, Anyways, let's get back to this work. So that's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan right there. That is a creation. That is someone that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, brought to you, just like he brought to you Malcolm X. Malcolm X is just one of his students, one of his disciples, one of the men that he's woken up and trained up in a way that would make you proud of him. So anytime you're proud of Malcolm X, you are thankful to the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yeah, figure that part out. Huh? So we hear these fools speaking without knowledge. It's okay. I'm going to teach them today. Yeah, you're going to learn today. Here's another one. This one is Dr. Khalid Muhammad. And in fact, I would even charge that he's a better speaker than both of the aforementioned Malcolm X and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Yeah, he better than both of them. And I'm going to give you a little sample. Shout out to Biko supporting the work. He writes, peace to the saints, purple satellites. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And you know what? It's Sasson or nothing. We're not making accommodations for anything else. Sasson or nothing. Everybody got to get in line. And it's not because we are controlling. It's because we realize that one thing must dominate for us to move forward. When I say us, I'm saying human civilization. This is what I mean. A major problem that you have in the continent of Africa is you have so many different countries, and then within the countries you have so many tribes and so many languages, whereas they fail to create a coherent economic community like you see in the European Union, and the European Union has even failed to create a coherent people like you saw in the United States in decades past. So when you create the Roman Empire, you have brought in more people under a single way of life, which allows you to dominate all of the other smaller entities. And that is why we must unify for strength. Come on now. But anyways, this is Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Yes, indeed. And again, he is a creation of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yes, indeed. Which is to say, Malcolm X was just one of many. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad was the great teacher. And let's get a sample of Dr. Khalid Muhammad because you guys also don't know about him, most of you.
Have a seat. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, yeah, and just for the record, bald head is we up right now.
This is Khalid Muhammad, former national representative of Minister Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam. Here's what you said about Colin Ferguson, the man who shot a Jamaican African.
Where they set black inmates up in pools, killing all
Man,
just as much.
you train? You love a man who randomly killed 6 people on a commuter train?
I love Colin Ferguson just as much as the masses of white Americans love General Schwarzkopf, General Westmoreland, General Patton, General MacArthur, and Eisenhower. America awards her killers, and they get ribbons and stripes and bars. I'm sensitive to the pain and suffering of the loss of life on that train, but I'm one of the rebellious slaves. And so when black people stand up out of pain and suffering and frustration, I understand after 500 years.
Yeah, like, bro, it's nice.
You talk about when white folks can't defeat you, you said in your speech at Kane, they'll always find some Negro, some boot-licking, butt-licking, buck-dancing, bamboozle, half-baked, half-fried, sissified, punkified, pasteurized, homogenized.
Now you'll see like a level of focus and calmness and seriousness that really typifies Dr. Khalid Muhammad. And this is the kind of man that you want raising up your young men to be soldiers. And this is the kind of man that folks just won't understand. You know, a lot of people are not going to understand a Dr. Khalid Muhammad today because they're so effeminate. And like in the ball, shout out to the bald head men out there. You hear me? Listen, that's the most masculine haircut you could ever have because you never see a woman with that. You dig? And we're in an era where men are going to put on makeup. You know, when the hair is time to go, they can't let it go. They got to put on makeup. They don't want to be men today. And that's why so often my words, oh, you're so harsh. No, I'm not harsh. I'm masculine. You need to stop acting like a broad, my boy. That's all that is. So anyways, he is yet another creation of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I remind you to ask yourself, who did Malcolm X create? Nothing, nobody, no ideology, no meaningful organization, no significant impact beyond that which he was empowered to do by the Nation of Islam. He himself is a creation. Malcolm X did not create, for he himself is a mere creation. Ooh, yeah, we talking about it today, ladies and saints. And so I put the question to you. Who is more important to a movement, which is to say the movement of black people forward? Is it the founder or is it the student? Is it the founder of the movement, the founder of the way, or is it the student? I'd go ahead and say it's probably the guy who started the movement. It's probably a lot more important. And it has only been by the manipulation of the media that you have a particular view of Malcolm X. And it is and the only reason they do that is well, one, it was after he died, right? And also it was after he jumped ship ideologically and he started becoming favorable to what the mainstream whites wanted and what the Sunni Muslims wanted, which is him to be on their side, right? Religious imperialism. So then, they created a new narrative around him. But that also provided greater reason. It was like a reminder of the mainstream media and the U.S. government to hide the Honorable Elijah Muhammad so that he didn't create more soldiers, so that he was not empowered to create more soldiers, because he was creating soldiers that were really strong. You saw Dr. Khalid Muhammad, you saw the minister Louis Farrakhan, very effective men. The real question is, who is Malcolm Little? Well, you guys don't know who Malcolm Little is. This is Malcolm X before he was awakened from the dead by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And then the question was, who did Malcolm X create? Well, he didn't create anyone, because he himself was a creation. And he was created by one who is like his father. And this is a face many of you don't know. This is the face of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He gave Malcolm X life like a father, and he gave him a name like a father, which is to say he woke him up from the dead from his foul behaviors. Malcolm X was a common criminal before he was blessed with knowledge by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So the real question is, well, then why is Malcolm X mainstream, but Elijah Muhammad is largely unknown? Well, that is by design. And you have to know that the persons who rule this society have always been wicked. And so, of course, we can expect that they're not going to put you onto anything that is truly light-giving and life-giving. You see a young Muhammad Ali looking up at his true teacher, not at Malcolm X, because Malcolm X also was known to Muhammad Ali. And when Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam, Muhammad Ali said to him, "Deuces, I'm not rocking with you because you left for terrible, selfish, narcissistic reasons, and you can go your own way." And it's common knowledge. You can Google it yourself. AI will even tell you that the loyalty that Muhammad Ali had was to Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. He stuck with the movement. And for those who say that the Nation of Islam killed Malcolm X, I tell you to think a little bit harder. Think a little bit harder and ask yourself, well, why is it that Malcolm X's family is suing the United States government for their involvement if it was the Nation of Islam that did it single-handedly?